Inside here, I have all of the CM Punk favors, all the possibilities that we could see from this favor at WrestleMania and beyond. So we're gonna break that down with you today. I actually don't have it in here. This is just for dramatic purposes. I think my taxes are in here. The first possible favor from CM Punk to Paul Heyman is one of the obvious ones that the internet has been talking about, and that is going to be CM Punk added to the Night 2 main event match between John Cena and Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship. In this scenario, it seems that if Punk were to maybe win or even lose the triple threat match between Seth, Roman, and himself, he would take Paul Heyman, he would cash in his favor and say, I'm going to the Night 2 main event, the real main event, and I'm getting the championship. Now, Punk could lose in that whole thing. Punk could lose that match against Cena and Cody. He could have John Cena win. The Rock maybe it's a whole mess, right? And Rock could get involved, make sure that Cena captures the title. You could have Cody retain, but I don't find that as exciting. But if Punk is just added to that match, you get huge fanfare. You get the explosion, I feel, of just things just completely altered last second, and the shock for fans at WrestleMania, because a lot of the builds for many of the matches going into Mania, just a sidebar here, they haven't been the best, right? It's missing that spark, and this could be one of those things. Now, the other thing you get out of Punk being added to the Night 2 main event is the fallout. Let's assume Punk loses in this scenario, then you can have a future feud between Roman and Punk, let's say at SummerSlam or WrestleMania the following year. You have Paul Heyman mixed in the middle. Is he really aligned with Punk? Is he forced? Like, there's so much you could break down there, and a lot of the scenarios and a lot of possibilities between a match between Roman and Punk. And if he did lose, you could get the Summer of Punk. You could get Cena versus Punk at Money in the Bank one more time. Look at the language John Cena used with the last promo, where he talked about the 17th championship and taking it.
I will win that championship and retire with it. I am taking it home with me.
And the language that Punk used many, many years ago.
I am leaving with the WWE championship.
Even if that scenario doesn't happen, I still think their paths are gonna cross at some point. All right, scenario number 2, ladies and gentlemen. Before that, let's take a look at today's sponsor. Okay, if you're like me, I need to be able to get something into my body that's going to be quick and painless and well, that is yummy basically, but not full of sugar and additives and carbs and all this stuff. So that's why I actually really do love Magic Spoon. I eat it on like a daily basis, if I'm being honest with you, because they got the brand new granola that just came out. They also got Magic Spoon treats, which are amazing if you just eat bite-sized stuff that's on the go. And again, 0 added sugar. It's fantastic. I sit here majority of my life, so I need something that is going to fill me up, just kind of get that craving out of the way, where I want something that's like snacky, that tastes like it has a little bit of sugar in it, but it totally doesn't. Like, you got these ones. These are Magic Spoon treats. They're the marshmallow flavors. They're awesome to be able to try. And then you can't go wrong with the actual Magic Spoon cereal that they have. It's kind of a classic now, but it fits a variety of diets. So it's high in protein, there's no sugar, and it's great for carb conscious lifestyles. The treats, like I mentioned, the marshmallow ones, for example, they're really awesome because they're chewy, they're full of protein. There's 11 grams to 12 grams of protein in every single bar. There's 1 gram of sugar and 1 to 2 grams of net carbs. So you can always get fuel on the go when you need it. But with the brand new granola that they have offering, you get 13 grams of protein and 0 added sugar in delicious flavors like the dark chocolate or honey or the peanut butter. Use my code AssembleWrestling or click the link in the description to try Magic Spoon treats or the granola today. Get $5 off. So you can also get Magic Spoon on Amazon or in your nearest grocery store. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee online. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money and no questions asked. So click my link in the description, go to magicspoon.com/AssembleWrestling or scan the QR code on screen to get $5 off. Yeah, I'm gonna eat these blueberry treats. Scenario number 2. During the triple threat match of Roman, Punk, and Seth, Paul Heyman is asked to grab a chair by CM Punk, either to slide a chair in, a weapon, and he blasts Roman Reigns with it. Or Paul Heyman is going to turn his back on Roman Reigns, and Paul Heyman, hits Roman Reigns with the chair and aligning himself, whether he really wants to do that or Paul Heyman is required to do that. Paul is really great at being stuck in the middle. The emotional tug of war that he goes through when it comes to the bloodline for so long. Like the relationships Paul Heyman developed in the bloodline storyline of not only with Roman, but with Jimmy and Jay and Sammy, and almost being caught in the middle sometimes. And then you had the new bloodline with Solo. and Paul Heyman being forced into that scenario. Paul has a great way of playing all of those sides, and you could get a very, very monumental big moment and memory of Paul Heyman hitting Roman with the chair. Now, can Paul swing the chair that hard? I don't know, but it would at least be entertaining. It would be shocking. Triple H has always talked about, and WWE in general, has always talked that WrestleMania, it's all about the moments, right? The WrestleMania moment. The builds haven't always been spectacular, but it's what people will remember. And you need something big like that. And in that scenario, you then have CM Punk pick up the victory. He could pin Seth, he could pin Roman, and then you have Paul Heyman and Punk walking out of WrestleMania. Doesn't mean there's a night 2 or anything. You just get that final image on night 1 main event of CM Punk standing at the top of the ramp with Paul Heyman, and the look on Paul Heyman's face would be everything. And then you can cut to Roman Reigns in the ring being confused and broken and betrayed and everything, because Roman's big story for years has been betrayal. Seth betrayed him. Look at where we're at. We're at a triple threat with Seth and Roman and Punk. Constant betrayals left and right is what he deals with. And this would be the icing on the cake where his wise man turned on him. Another possible option here for the favor, not as exciting in my opinion, but I've seen it circulating, is that Paul Heyman is selected to be in Punk's corner during the match at WrestleMania. You can get all of the entrances, everything's done as normal. Paul Heyman comes out with Roman Reigns, and right before the match starts, Punk can grab the microphone and just say, "Paul, I'm cashing in my favor. You're in my corner tonight." And that gets the crowd to go, ooh, which is the big thing. Roman then is kind of broken, confused during the whole match. It changes Roman Reigns during that moment because of the confusion, and he's distracted, thus leading to possibly CM Punk getting the win, or even Seth Rollins is a possibility. You're then creating the tensions between Roman and Punk once again, which I think that one-on-one match is something that they're gonna want to do at some point. And it can still result in, like what we just said previously with the other scenario, Paul Heyman then just walks out with CM Punk. I just don't find it as exciting, because in that idea, you're having just Paul Heyman being told to go from standing from this side of the apron to that side of the apron, and no interference, no shenanigans, nothing, no guarantee of a win. Not as exciting, but it does, however, beg the big question of what's going to happen next, which I do like. I really like that. It's the mystery of what's going to happen on Raw or SmackDown with Heyman and Punk. What are they going to say? Another scenario we could have, and it's similar to this, but it could stand on its own, is that maybe the favor is not cashed in at WrestleMania. Maybe they are going to do it before, on the Raw or SmackDown go home before Mania. We have a couple of weeks now, and you've done the contract signing, so now you need something else to hook people every week to watch to see what's going to happen. If it's just a bunch of pull-apart brawls for 3 weeks, it's not intriguing to me. The intrigue is in Punk's favor that he kind of mic dropped at the end of SmackDown. They now have 3 weeks to build to that reveal if they want to. So one possibility is that Raw or SmackDown before Mania, CM Punk reveals the favor. He's in the ring with Seth and Roman and Paul Heyman, or maybe just Seth is taken out earlier or something like that, and it's Paul and Roman and Punk. Punk can show up and say, "I've got another contract," or "I have our contract here, but there is one line in here that we have amended." So it's a new contract that Punk has brought up and that it's already been approved. Heyman has to go be his wise man during his entrance, and you can kind of end Raw or SmackDown with that as the standing image. Roman is forced to be on his own. Paul Heyman is scared, nervous. Punk's smiling the whole way to WrestleMania. But even then, if you do that, again, it still doesn't guarantee that Punk is just gonna win the match and then nothing else happens from there. I keep going back and saying any one of them could win. You could have Roman Reigns win. You could have Seth Rollins pick up a victory. But if we play that scenario out, I do find it, like the other one where he's just Paul Heyman standing in Punk's corner, find that underwhelming. You want to see more. What is he gonna do? The intrigue of the whole match of what will Paul Heyman do? And if nothing comes of it, and Punk just wins clean with no Paul Heyman interference, okay, it's kind of a letdown. Another possibility where it could backfire for CM Punk. Paul Heyman is required to manage or be the wise man of the winner of the triple threat match. The assumption being CM Punk. And Punk, feeling confident that that will happen, he's got his wise man in his back pocket. But as WrestleMania Night 1 unfolds, it turns out that Seth Rollins is the one that picks up the victory, and Paul Heyman walks out with Seth. Seth becomes a massive, nasty heel, He's got a wise man that he's never had. He's got a mouthpiece, and that is a whole new dynamic and relationship that's never been explored. And again, you can bring this all back now with all three guys, or four with Heyman, all together. If you have a huge nasty heel of Seth Rollins in this, and look how frustrated Seth has been over the last several weeks of CM Punk getting to WrestleMania, and he's been trying to stop him the whole way, and you get Seth to side with the wise man, they walk out together. Now you can do Seth and Roman one-on-one with Paul Heyman in the corner, and you can do Seth and Punk once again, but the new dynamic is Paul Heyman having to go inside with Seth Rollins. It could be willingly, but it could also be, just like I said, a stipulation that backfired for Punk. Yeah, those are definitely my taxes. All right, the next one. Don't know how likely this is, but you never know. CM Punk wants one more favor. He has Paul Heyman reach out to the final boss, The Rock. The Rock interferes in the triple threat of night one, delivers a rock bottom to Roman Reigns. CM Punk pins Roman Reigns, trying to guarantee his victory. Paul Heyman and The Rock would have a relationship. Also, The Rock is final boss, board of directors, TKO. He runs everything. They can lean into that. Heyman walks out with Punk at the end of night one. Could set up Punk and Roman for SummerSlam, and Rock and Roman for Mania 42 if The Rock will wrestle. Doesn't seem very likely anymore. He likes being a soul sucker now.
I want your soul.
Now, another one that's been brought up by a lot of people. They're talking about the World Heavyweight Championship. I don't see this being likely. I find this to be the least likely scenario, where Punk wins night one and cashes in a favor with Paul Heyman to then go on to night two in the Gunther J match, gets in there, makes that a triple threat, and wins the world title. I don't see it. I think, number one, I don't see that as very intriguing. I think if any title is going to be involved, it's going to be Cody's title. That's where Punk will go, and it is the big title. Like, it's main eventing night two. And Jay and Gunther, it ain't. I don't see Punk doing that and wanting the world title. Also, I think WWE just wants to have that Jay moment where there's a payoff of everyone yeeting and going crazy with Jay winning the world title one-on-one against Gunther. Like, just don't see that coming. You never know. All right, next up, Punk has one more favor in his back pocket. Triple threat happens night one. Punk loses. Seth or Roman pick up the victory. Maybe Seth, he kind of needs it. At the end of the night, CM Punk grabs Paul Heyman, maybe ringside, or there is a little backstage moment after the match. Everything has ended, probably ringside because it's the end of the night. Punk grabs Heyman and grabs him by the collar and just says, it's time to cash in that favor. Punk gets added into night two main event with Cody and Cena with Paul Heyman by his side. Paul Heyman gets this done by making the request to the final boss to grant this wish like a genie. Rock grants it. Now I know what you're thinking. You're like, well, this doesn't work because Rock and Cena are allies. You can have it where Heyman asks this of The Rock, and The Rock is like a mob boss now. He's kind of the head guy, right? Heyman goes to The Rock asking for this favor, knowing that something is going to be given in return down the road. You could still have John Cena win. Just because The Rock grants Paul Heyman's wishes for Punk to be added to the main event, it doesn't mean that Punk has to win. He could win and walk out with Heyman, and we know that The Rock would then be owed. John Cena goes even further down the rabbit hole of being even more crazy hungry for the title because clock's a ticking and he didn't get it done. And Cody Rhodes is destroyed because Punk turned his back, sided with the final boss a little bit, or maybe even if Punk has this favor granted and it turns out it was granted by The Rock, maybe Punk doesn't realize that. Maybe Punk doesn't know where it came from, assuming it just came from Heyman. For The Rock, how would that work with, the relationship with Cena? Well, they haven't even touched on it yet, and we don't even know if The Rock will be even dropped by name by John Cena at any point coming up to WrestleMania. Rock's motivation could simply be, I just don't want Cody having the belt. It creates huge chaos at the end of night two. It creates chaos for the next year. And personally, I kind of like the wrinkle of Punk not realizing that the favor was granted by The Rock, someone that he has had history with and doesn't like, and it was the only way for Paul Heyman to get it done. You still have the whole intrigue and dynamic of Roman versus Punk, with or without a title. Cena and Punk can still work. The Rock can be involved in everything. Cody getting his rematch, and Seth Rollins losing his mind, even winning at WrestleMania potentially against Punk. Punk has the championship. and Seth Rollins ultimately couldn't stop CM Punk. You want some bonuses? Some bonus possibilities for what this favor is? All right, I'll give you some bonuses. Number 1, ice cream bars. Maybe that's all it is, and CM Punk just wants his damn ice cream bars. Number 2, one favor that he wants from Paul Heyman is 3 more favors. He's just treating it like the genie from Aladdin. Number 3, the favor's not revealed, and Triple H doesn't have a plan for it. They just kind of leave it, and they don't talk about it for a very long time. Kind of like The Rock, where he just shows up, and you think there's a plan, and then there is no plan. Could be a thing. There is no plan for WrestleMania with this favor. Drop your predictions, speculation in the comments. Do any of these make sense? I'll go file my taxes here because that's necessary. Have a great day, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you can. If you like videos like this, drop a like. Have a great day. See ya.